Hello, everybody. I am so excited about today's episode with Cheryl. Normally on Mondays, we do have our Monday mystery. However, due to some filming issues we had this week, we are going to have to postpone this week's Monday mystery for next week. Gotta love this Mercury retrograde. Speaking of Mercury retrograde, the audio is a little bit delayed in this episode as well as the camera. And again, this is just technological issues. I really do believe this was a Mercury retrograde thing. The good news is the audio is still pretty good. So if you just listen to this episode as a podcast, that would be great. And you probably won't even notice that the camera is a little bit off if you just listen to it as a podcast. There are some words that I did have to mute. If you're not watching the screen, I did put the actual word up on the screen. However, if you're not watching the screen for most of these words, you will be able to figure out what was said given the context of the sentence. With that being said, I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Esoteric Atlanta. I have a very special guest today, and I know normally on Mondays we air our Mystery Monday, but because this is Mercury retrograde, we have had some problems with our system, and so I'm so happy to have Cheryl here from Truth Seeking Gal. There is a little bit of a delay right now, guys. Again, there's some technology issues, so please bear with us. Again, this is Mercury retrograde. It is what it is. But before we get started, Cheryl, I'm going to go ahead and show people your channel so I don't not do this later on, because you are so close to 1,000 subscribers. And I want to get people over.
That's crazy.
We're going to talk more about that because I have had the pleasure of being on your channel a couple of times now. And so it's kind of nice to now turn the tables and get a chance to interview you. And guys, I'm going to be putting all of Cheryl's links down in the description box below, but please go over to her channel and give her a subscribe. She's got great guests. Of course, there's me, our friend Liz from TikTok,
Of course.
Tons of awesome interviews on here, guys. So please go over and make sure you are subscribed to Cheryl. So before we get into it, I want to make sure we got that out there before we got into it, because I want people to know more about you, Cheryl, because it takes a lot of guts to start a channel in these times. And so I want to applaud you. And for anybody out there that wants to start a channel, it does take a lot of guts, because this is very tumultuous waters we're trying to tread right now. And so Cheryl, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you find yourself sitting on YouTube right now talking about a great awakening?
Wow. Well, let me see here. I know I have to be careful some of the words that I say. I guess let me just go back to, I've always been a faithful voter. Like, I've always voted and love my country, like a lot of people do, like most of us do. And I stopped watching the mainstream media. I guess I can say that. I stopped watching that because it was all one-sided. And then when Mr. T ran for president, I was like, and of course I didn't like the opponent, couldn't stand her and so forth, and knew that he wasn't a politician, he was a businessman and all that kind of thing. So, I voted for him, and I was so relieved and excited, when he won. And then I watched what he was doing and all the amazing things he was accomplishing. I was like, this guy is a really good guy, and I didn't know a lot about him. And then of course we had the crazy sickness that came out and all that, and I watched him and how he handled it. And then when the 2020 came around, I was like all in, and I remember standing in line with my family for like 2 to 3 hours just to vote, because we wanted to vote in person. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy because we stood in line outside, and so I knew something was up when everything happened and all that kind of stuff. And I knew something wasn't right. And it was interesting. My son had noticed, we went to a friend's party to see the results. And he noticed how the numbers had changed on the news and all that kind of stuff. And he pointed that out. And we knew that he had won, or we thought that he had won, and then everything happened. And, and then from there, it was just kind of a really puzzling. It was very puzzling to us. And so then from there, I was just kind of like, I don't know. And then I started following different people on Facebook, watching videos and that kind of stuff. And then Parler came around, started following people on there, jumping on there. And then I was following other people. And then Parler shut down, and then Telegram came up. So I was like, okay, then I went over there, to Telegram. And I was just looking for alternative news outlets to see if I could find truth. Like, I think it was like the Epic Times. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Some people say it differently, but
yeah.
And then One American News Network was one, and Right Side Broadcasting. And so I was looking for those just to see, to find truth and that kind of stuff. And then I just started watching YouTube from Facebook and stuff. I would go from there to YouTube, and I followed Charlie Ward and Simon Parks, bunches. And I think actually Tom Numbers, I actually found you through Tom Numbers. So just started watching everybody and taking notes and, and researching and all that kind of stuff. And it led me down a ton of rabbit holes and deep dives. And I love to research and learn. Like, it's so much fun to do that anyway. So I would just start researching and looking into stuff and like, oh my gosh, this is fascinating. And then I found out through just the research and the hours and hours of watching videos, and it's like, there's so much more going on here than just a 4-year election, or, the politics, or, with all the corruption. It's like, there's so much more here. And I was like, wow, it just blew me away. So that kind of, just step by step led me to understanding that we're going through a great awakening. So,
right.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
And then
I also learned too, like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I kept seeing, like the signs, all the different campaign signs about, drain the, and I was like, okay, yeah, I realized there's corruption in Congress and, that, but I didn't realize like it was so much bigger than what I was thinking. So like some of those campaign slogans started making sense to me. And then I just started following more and more people and watching videos and just diving into information and taking notes. And I even started like a notebook. I'll have to show it to you. It's not real fancy, but I started a notebook like this. And then I just put in there like, the Great Awakening. I don't know if you can see that. And, I wrote a scripture verse, and I was, starting to take notes on people I was following, and, the news media that I could kind of somewhat trust, and doctors. And, so I was like making all these notes, and I kept a notebook, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I just kept researching, wanting to do more. But then there were times where I was like, okay, like I'd have to stop. Like it would just be too much, like, because some of the information out there that we found and things that have been going on is just like so intense and so horrible, that I was just like, okay, I've got to put this away. This is too crazy, and I've got to stop. So that happened at times. But anyway, so I don't know if you were going to ask me another question, but
no, I agree with you.
That's kind of how I've come about this. So
if I had one word to describe this whole time period, it's pretty psychedelic, because you do start going down this path thinking one way, knowing something isn't right. And then all of a sudden you uncover everything you've been told in your life is an absolute whole-faced lie.
Yes.
And it's a traumatizing sometimes to be on this journey. It can be pretty, they talk about the red pill, and they also talk about the black pill, and the black pill always comes with the red pill. Did you go through like a depression ever, or like a mourning stage when you realized like nothing was as it seems?
Yeah, I would, like for a day or two, and then I'd be like, okay, I need to take a break from this, and sometimes it was just so intense, and I was like, and I didn't really have anybody I could talk to about it. That was the hard part, because I was like, well, I want to talk to my family, but they're going to think I've lost my mind. And I did try to share some stuff with them, and I might have probably tried to share too much at once, or too many extreme things. And they were just like, Mom, where are you getting your information? So then they'd start telling my sources and stuff. So there were times I think it was harder because I felt more alone with it. but I mean, God helped me through it, of course. And then being able to reach out to you and other truthers and, so knowing that you're not in it alone. But yeah, it's pretty intense. And there are times where you're just like, but then I would look at too, like, all the amazing things that are coming. So like I found all the, a lot of the horrible stuff and some of the stuff I can't even watch because I just know that it happened and I don't need to watch it, but you know what I'm talking about, the little people and so forth. But then I just kept looking at all this amazing stuff coming. And I was like, oh. So I was more clinging to that, I think. I was learning all these lies and stuff, but knowing that there's hope, that there's good things coming. That's what's kept me going.
Yeah,
I guess. So
this is God's battle at the end of the day. I mean, we're a part of it. And that's one thing I've noticed as of late, because even in my journey, my opinion has changed on some things from my own research. And I don't know if I've talked to you about this. I think I have, but that we're not at the apocalypse. Apocalypse already happened. We're post-apocalyptic. This is literally the final battle. This is literally it. And so this, the devil doesn't go down without fight. And so he's given it all he's got, and it's draining and it's daunting for us, especially when we understand. I love how you talked about that, because this isn't, at the end of the day, this isn't about politics or education or whatever. Those are just symptoms of the bigger issue. The bigger issue is this is a battle for our soul. This is spiritual.
Yes.
And the devil's not going to go down without a fight. And so that's why it's so draining. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that? When this first started, did you think this maybe was the apocalypse and now your opinion shifted? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I wasn't sure, because I was like, we've been taught that, Jesus' second coming, like we're to prepare for that, and most of the churches I've been in and been a part of, they don't teach you the book of Revelation, like an understanding of it, or a lot of pastors just avoid it, so I was like, I've read through it, but then I've also read Melissa Redpill. She has a book. Oh, I'm not going to get the name right. I read her book, and that was pretty fascinating, and trying to understand Revelation and that kind of thing. So it's mind-boggling, but it's amazing at the same time. So yeah, it's incredible.
And I love Melissa.
To know that what's really going on. Yeah, and how we've been lied to about everything.
Yeah, literally everything. And when I started my journey, I had no intention of ever going through the missing books of the Bible. That I feel like that was God inspired, and it's literally changed my whole perception on. It hasn't shaken my faith. It's made my faith stronger. And I realized this whole journey that my faith was always in God and was never in the actual story, because we know the story isn't accurate. It's not the bad guys, I'll say, have changed the story in order to mimic Mithraism, which is a satanic religion. And so you have to separate the Yahshua, the Christ, from the actual propaganda, we'll say, that's given to us through the church, which unfortunately is part of the system. And that I know is, I get the biggest backlash for saying that, but it's the truth will set you free. Like this is what the truth is. And it doesn't change God, because God isn't just the church. God isn't just the Bible. God is bigger than that. And I realized too that our whole history, and history is my thing, our timeline is off. They don't want us to know what the real time is. And so that made me start to realize that we are in a post-apocalypse. The apocalypse already happened. That already happened. And that Yahshua will be coming back, but not until after this final battle. He already came for the 1,000 years of peace with the Christ consciousness. They just don't want us to know that, because the devil is going to try everything he can to make us ignorant to where we actually are. And that is so, in my opinion, that is so exciting, because that means if you guys know the book of Revelation, it talks about how there's going to be an apocalypse, and then all this bad stuff's going to happen, and then all of a sudden Yahshua is going to come back and rule for 1,000 years, and then the devil will be released again for a short amount of time, and then there will be a final battle. Well, my friends, we're at that final battle. So what that means is there's no second chances for Lucifer. He can't come back. And to me, then we're going to ascend. So that's exciting.
That's fascinating. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's really exciting. That's interesting. You're talking about that. It's like, for me, when I was learning about each of the different things, like, the politics and the education. And then when it came to, like, I mean, I understand the difference between religion and then having a relationship with the Lord. I get that, but I know there's all these different religions and so forth. But that was kind of the hardest pill for me to swallow, was learning about, I won't go into names, but learning about certain people that are ministers and pastors and what they've been doing. And that was tough for me to take, because my faith is so important to me. Like, that's the most important thing to me in my life, besides, of course, my family and stuff. But
Yeah.
that was really, really hard to swallow that. Like, oh my gosh, they've even corrupted people's, what's the word, faith, or relationship or knowledge of God. And that to me was like major betrayal, like the worst, I think, And
I
all the other
get
stuff's
it.
horrible too, but don't get me wrong. But that just was hard.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I've noticed that
was very hard.
It's a huge lesson for us, I think, as believers in a higher power, that your faith cannot be dependent upon a community or organization. It has to be through you and you alone. And that's what Yahshua taught anyway.
Right.
And that is something I am disgusted. The things that I have learned about the umbrella of the church has absolutely disgusted me. And I will go, there are some pastors out there that don't know what they're doing. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And you have to follow the money in the seminary schools to see how corrupt the seminary schools are. It's just, this fish stinks from the head down. But some of them do know what they're doing.
Right.
And they've made an abomination out of something that should be a very peaceful faith. And even our Bible itself, I mean, I just completed a big deep dive into King James. Like, the King James Bible is corrupt as hell. It's not.
I saw that.
He was not.
Yep.
He was a Satanist. And that's the that's the only English Bible we have. Even the NIV, all the English translations come from the King James. And so you have to be, that MK Ultra, they've like convinced us through our churches, like, just to repeat over and over and over again, the Bible's the word of God, the Bible's the word of God, the Bible's the word of God. And so when you start pointing that out to people that this might actually be corrupted, it's that cognitive dissonance, but they've done that geniusly. And you guys, the Bible may be the word of God, but we haven't seen it. It's under the Vatican. We haven't seen it. They won't show it to us.
Right. And I've heard other people say too, it's, God's word is truth, but it's not the whole truth. Like, we don't have the whole thing, the whole picture. And that's good to remember. That's a really good point. And that is sad, because there's a lot of pastors out there that really do care about people. I've known several that really love and care about people, but they're kind of stuck in the system. They don't realize what it's leading to, or what it's come from, or whatever. So and I've always wondered why there's so many versions of the Bible. Like, there's the NIV, there's the Passion Translation, and the Amplified. It's just like, I'd like to do that myself, really. It's like, why are there so many versions? And it's crazy. But like you said, it all goes back to the King James version, which that's and I did watch your video. That was really good video on that.
It's super corrupt. It makes you mad. It makes me mad anyway, and I only did that because I have also been looking into like deep fundamentalist organizations, especially since the Josh Duggar case just happened here in the United States, and he was convicted of CP. And I've been reading through on David Zublick's platform, How to Train Up a Child by Michael and Debbie Pearl. I can't read it on YouTube. That's how bad the book is. And it's literally, to me, it reads as an SRA, a book. It's teaching you how to SRA your kid. And so I started looking at these evangelical fundamentalists, like CULTs basically. And I'm like, this is not the teachings of Yahshua. This is not Christ consciousness. This is demonic. Wow. This is satanic. The amount of ABUSC, this is not the same. We're not worshiping the same God here. The God I worship would never want this for his children. And even the fact that they changed Jesus' name. Why did they change his name? Why can't we call him Yahshua?
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't his name.
Right. Right.
Why did they change that? And that's the questions you have to start
incredible.
Asking. And my friend Stephanie did a deep dive into the name Jesus, and I'll direct you guys to her channel as well, because she did this research. The name Jesus means Hail Satan.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
So they're
heavens.
laughing at us.
Yeah, because we're always, oh my word, because like everybody's talking about, the name of Jesus, and we pray it and we sing it, and oh my. But then it's like, just God knows our real intentions.
Yes,
so
I do believe that too.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's one thing that this bad group of people can't control is your free will and intention. So regardless of whether you're using Jesus or his real name Yahshua, God knows who you're talking about. And my friend Tamara said, if you say Jesus Christ too, the Christ kind of purifies the name that they have changed. That's how sick these people are. The J did not exist back then.
Just makes you so angry.
So angry.
Right.
And it's so funny because
oh my gosh, yeah.
The Gospel of Mary, Mary Magdalene, that's made me angry as well, because she was the other half of the Christ consciousness. And I had this great book that my friend Cindy, where it goes into her gospel, and she talks about the wisdom of the wrathful person, that anger that we have, and I think that's what we're seeing in this Great Awakening, is this anger we have can be, if we use it properly, it can be used to change things. And
okay, good.
Yeah. And that was Mary's teaching. And she was the divine feminine of the divine masculine of the Christ consciousness, the Magdalene. And as we both have blue on, the Order of the Blue Rose. Yes.
We didn't plan this either. We didn't plan it.
We didn't plan it. But that's what's coming back is that Magdalene. They've inverted that. They took away, not only did they change Yahshua's name in his story, but they also stripped away the Magdalene, which was the other half of the Christ consciousness. And it was supposed to be in divine union. And of course they've inverted it. We know the Baphomet, we know that kind of stuff. They've inverted all that, but it's coming back, and it's prophecy. It's we're not destined to be a planet ruled by Lucifer. So they gotta go. They gotta go.
That's right.
It's time.
That's right. Out of here. Bye. See ya.
Bye. You guys didn't have it. I mean, what's it going to be?
That's right. We're ready to take it back.
I know. But think about this. When we move into this new ascended world, not just our bodies, but our planet, there's not going to really be any polarization anymore. It's going to be all positive. So how wild is that? Like, I don't know if we're not used to that. Like, we're not used to.
No.
How wild is that?
That's going to be wild. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm ready for it though. Me too. And I've heard, like, you think about like all the healing we have to do because of everything they've put in our food and our water to try to, make us toxic and make our thought just separate us from God, basically. And we still woke up. We still got here. That's how powerful the human spirit is. And so that's super exciting, but it's going to be wild, like to not have, sorry to the men watching this, but I've even heard that as women, we're not going to have cramps anymore with our cycles, that childbirth will be easy. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Great. I like that idea. That's awesome.
You've already given birth, but for us who haven't, that's very exciting. So.
Oh yeah, for those of you who haven't, I've had 3, and I had them all natural and felt everything. So yeah, I'll be thrilled for anybody that doesn't have to.
Just can sneeze the baby out, just achoo, and there it is. Boop, you have a baby. No, but apparently that was all the corruption of Satan's world, is that pain and destruction. And so even that in itself, that our whole biology is going to be something different. That's pretty incredible that won't be anymore. And, I don't know what that looks like. I mean, like I said, I don't know what it looks like to not have bad guys, to not have like temptation or, what's going to happen to all our soap operas, so, what's that going to look like
instead?
Right? Like, and then what I hear too, that when we get the med beds, that's going to give us a lot of our information back that we lost. That's going to be wild. We start remembering things.
That's fascinating.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Well, speaking of,
great.
what's the wildest thing? Like, if you were to talk to yourself 5 years ago and to tell yourself something that you believe now that you didn't believe then, like, what's the I'll give you an example. Like, for me, if I had told myself 5 years ago that at this point in 2022, I would be questioning what the earth actually looked like, myself 5 years ago would have told me I was crazy. So what's that thing for you that yourself 5 years ago would have told you were crazy?
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess learning about some of the people that supposedly left the earth that are here. Is that that's saying too much? Learning about 900 plus people that are still with us that didn't leave.
Isn't that wild?
That's pretty incredible.
When we first started hearing rumors that Junior was still alive, I thought that was insanity. I was like, no, he's not. He's not. No. And now I'm like, oh yeah, he's totally alive. Like, yeah, he's totally alive. So,
oh yeah.
Same with Diana.
So that's been so fun. I know that's been so fun though, finding about all these people that are still with us that like left everything. Just, I mean, I guess they were escaping certain things, but you know that they're here to help us, and it's like that's going to be so exciting to see all these people come back. It was interesting. I don't know if you saw my other videos that I did with Mrs. Handy with Kathy, but we went to Tennessee this past September to Graceland, and I knew that he's still around, and as someone else, and so forth. And it was just neat going through that because I'm like taking all these pictures and looking it up for all these clues, and I just felt like a detective. It was the most fun thing. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going there and looking at stuff and like, oh, this probably has meaning, or that, has meaning. And she, where Kathy and I did like a decode with gematria with all the pictures and the stuff that I saw there. It was a lot of fun. It was really neat to see.
That's amazing. I'm like you, and I can't wait for us on this platform. I mean, we came from ordinary lives, ordinary American citizens, and I know the way that having this platform has shifted my life and some of the stuff I've had to go through. I respect them so much for what they've gone through and what they've done for humanity, and to like walk away from a life basically in order to pull something off. Like, I mean, we talk about Junior, but it's been a little over 20 years for him. But someone like Elvis, like, it's been a long time that they've had to take on.
It was like 1977, I think.
Yeah, that's a long time to basically walk away from. I mean, wow. I know Michael Jackson too. That whole, and we know that they tried to smear him and put on him what they do, and but. I actually lived in Los Angeles when he, passed away. And I remember walking outside of my apartment to watch the helicopter or airplane, I can't remember which one it was, go over supposedly with his body. Now I'm like, that was all just a stunt. Like, that was a stunt. He wasn't in there. That's wild, Or Freddie Mercury, I love Queen. So hearing Freddie Mercury was alive, I was like, yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my son will be happy about that. He likes Queen. So
yes. And what a voice. Yeah,
lots of great artists. Yes. Very talented. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so talented. Yeah, and so many actors and actresses. It's like, oh wow, that'll be so awesome. It'll be just a big party for who knows how long.
I know, and how great is that these people who have I think we're learning now that don't ever put people on pedestals. Like, that is not something we should ever be doing again, because that was the matrix system to worship celebrities. No one should be worshipped. No human being should be worshipped. We're all literally equals, and but to have people that people have idolized in the past be able to explain to them, this is what happened, to people that are still, I mean, I feel sorry for the people who are still dead asleep that are staying with us on this earth, because holy crap, they're about to get a bucket of cold water dumped on their head.
Right.
I mean.
Oh my, yes, definitely.
I feel lucky that I've been able to wake up slowly, because to learn everything at once about everything. I mean, we can't say but holy crap. I I just don't, I mean,
I know.
it's going to do their head in. And then you think about back to the church, like the people who are so needy and dependent on the organization of the church to now have to realize that this organization was not for their greatest good. And even though and my friend Stephanie is going to be probably going to be opening up a support group for pastors as well, who are like good people who are like, oh crap, what have I done? You know?
Right. Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah. Because there are some good ones. There are some really bad ones, but there's also some good ones that
oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. And to have that
right. Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, there's a delay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Mercury retrograde. I think our viewers understand. It's just the planets right now. So whatever those are, I have no idea what those are now. I've asked a few people, I'm like, so what are the planets? Like now that we have no clue what anything is, like what are the planets? So
right.
I mean,
exactly. Really? Wow. Yeah.
What are they? In the Apocalypse of Abraham, one of the missing books, God tells Abraham that the planets that live in the fifth firmament are messengers, which is what angels are as well. So that's interesting.
Right.
That's interesting. Like Archangel Jupiter, like I don't know what are these planets. So, you know, but isn't it so cool? I no matter what, it's almost like that saying, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
I totally agree with that statement. Yeah. Totally.
No clue what we're standing on.
No, I don't either.
What's below us.
Nope.
That's right. So there's God, and that God loves us, so it's all good.
That's right.
So
exactly. That's what I've clung to through all this. You know, even this stuff that I found, that's what I've clung to is like, there's, you know, God, he's our creator. He's made amazing things. And I'm just sticking with him, whatever the program is, you know?
Right.
So,
right. Because if you think about it too much, it can do your head in. Like, it can bring you to a point of like complete like psychosis on like what that, like, because it's just so not what, nothing is what we were told it is. So,
right.
You know,
right. And to have him to cling to through all this that's so helpful. Cause you're like, cause I've talked about it before. Like I've asked the question, like, am I losing my mind? Am I crazy? You know, all this information, it's like, you know, like my brain is just sometimes in a fog because there's so much in there that I thought I knew that I don't. And, you know, it's just, you're constantly like reevaluating and relearning. So it's good to have something to hold on to. So I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I, you know, the thing about our God source, the creator, is that he would not have put us here on the planet at this time if we couldn't handle it. And I do think that in our DNA and our soul, we do know what the truth is with everything, but we've just gone through the veil of third density that and that's, I think, what the med beds are going to help us remember who we are. And that's just my opinion. I don't know that for sure, but who we actually are. Right. You know, brainwashing is real. And we've all been subjected to it.
Yes.
And it's kind of like what they say in AA. First, you have to admit you have a problem. Like, first, you have to admit that you've been a part of some brainwashing. Like, you first have to go, wait a minute. Yes, I was taught to believe this, but this might not be true. And so just being open-minded and knowing, and I do think once it's all revealed, we'll be fine, you know, and that healing will.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm excited. I mean, you've got children.
It's been interesting.
And I'm so excited for the young kids.
Go ahead.
Sorry, guys, there's a delay. But the young kids that are coming up, like about to enter adulthood, like how exciting is it that they're going to be coming into a world that's very different than what I entered in after college and most people did. You know, their whole future is going to be so different. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, I have two young adult daughters, and then my son is a teenager. So, and I homeschool. So I homeschooled all my kids. So I didn't do the usual route or whatever, but yeah, so I'm finishing up. He actually has a couple more years yet. So that'll be exciting for him. And I've been trying to red pill him some, and he kind of sees some of it, and other things he's like, Mom, I don't know, that's a conspiracy. So I'm trying to wake him up a little bit, but it's an interesting, but it will be good for him, going forward. And I've been able to talk to my one daughter a little bit and the other one not so much. So I don't know, just my prayers that they'll wake up like everybody else, but
Yeah.
it's just like, I want to tell you all the stuff I know and I can't.
I saw the greatest meme once. It was like, going forward, I will no longer be called a conspiracy theorist, but a prophet. I was like, I love that. I will no longer be a conspiracy
I like
theorist,
that.
but a prophet, because
Right.
everything that was going to happen has freaking happened. So,
oh my gosh. Well, I heard this the other day from someone. They were like, well, there's two groups of people, and I kind of almost wanted to add a third, but he's like, there's the conspiracy deniers, the conspiracy theorists, and the one I wanted to add would be the conspiracy interpreters.
I love it.
So,
that needs to be a t-shirt. My friend Stephanie, and I know our friend Liz does t-shirts, so we've been like collecting a list of different t-shirts for the afterwards, for when all of this is done, about about every, that's
right.
conspiracy interpreter. I love it.
Interpreter. Yeah, so Liz, if you're listening to this,
I'm a conspiracy interpreter.
Create a t-shirt, please.
Yes. Yes.
That's right.
So it's awesome.
That's really
I love
good.
that. I love that. Well, what has been probably the most
Yes.
challenging thing for you, being a face on YouTube now in this community? What has been like the most challenging thing in this journey for you?
Having enough time to do my videos. I have all these ideas. I guess that's been most challenging, is I have all these ideas and having time to do them all, and amongst homeschooling and everything else. So
Yeah.
that's probably been the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I hope, and we don't know like what's going to happen with YouTube later down the road. Like, I'm not attached to the platform staying up because we don't know what's going to happen. But I do believe that all of our videos are probably going to be saved somewhere. And just think about, somebody said this to me the other day, like,
Okay.
when, a year from now, or when everything has changed, you have actual like receipts that you participated. And that's pretty cool, that you have actual videos that like your receipt, like the proof that you actually, your kids can show their kids that you actually participated and put yourself out there. And that's really cool. To have that, and and that's, and what a pride your descendants will have in that you actually did something. And I consider everybody that watches Oh, can you hear me? Did I lose you?
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine. There's
I
a
was
delay.
just saying, and I think even everybody who watches our channels are participating as well, by sharing our stuff and helping us out like that. We're all in this together. And so how cool is that to actually, even though it can be stressful,
Right.
and I agree with you, it's really, there's only so many hours in a day, and researching, filming, editing, it does take a lot of time, and it is a full-time job. So I get that can be tough. So, but that's so cool that you're going to have this like proof.
Right. And plus I'm constantly trying to watch other people's videos watching yours and many, many others. It's like, oh, but I need to watch this one, but I need to work on this, and it's just, you're trying to 10 million different directions.
Yeah.
So it's fun, but it's really challenging.
It is. That was the biggest shock for me when I started my channel. I thought it was and it's fun. I love doing it, but I mean, it's hard for me to get back to messages now. Like, I have there's so much coming at you all the time. And then plus your research and your filming, like, it's a lot. And so, right. I hear you. But it's a joy to do it. So it's fun. Right. And I've loved everyone.
So much fun.
And everyone I've met on this journey, including yourself, it's just changed my life. I have all these like new friends, but they don't feel new. You guys, I feel like I've known you guys for like lifetimes, so I think that it's very divine.
Yes.
It's very divine. So
yeah, that's been an enjoyable part in not feeling like you're alone. That's definitely been true. Meeting you and Liz and Kathy and Joe and everybody else, I can name a whole bunch more, but yeah, that's been a big joy in all of this, is meeting everybody and just having that connection. And, we're all on the same page with most things, we understand and we're wanting truth. So I do enjoy that too.
We respect you. And it's true. You look at like the YouTube world is a weird world because there's so many different, categories. Like, you've got the drama channels, you've got the how-to channels, and sometimes I will go watch some of those other categories just to see what's going on in their world, to kind of gauge what's happening with like the normal people or whatever. And they're always in competition with each other. But over here on our corner,
my goodness,
we're all where we go, when we go all. Like, we're all together. We're in this together. And that is, everybody I work with and know in this truly believe that. Like, there is no competition. It is, we are doing this together. We're on the battlefield together, and that is such a beautiful thing, to feel that family and to feel that camaraderie with everyone.
Yes, that's such a good point. I so agree with you, because Liz and I were talking yesterday. We were like, yeah, Brice, she's a connector. She's connecting everybody and, bringing people together. And we were just like, we were bragging on you yesterday. So
I was just watching that. I totally shared it on my community. I got a little emotional. It's just, but no, it's literally like we're the way I see it is, this is the battlefield. YouTube is the battlefield, and we're on the same side. And I don't believe at this point, when Mr. T said, the storm's coming. What storm, Mr. President? He said 3 times, and he said, you'll see. I think he meant us. We're the storm. The people.
Oh, right.
The people. Because we have to
and being, digital warriors. Yeah, and being digital warriors, we can't afford to be in competition with each other. Like, we have to be together on the same front, and pushing forward and stuff. We can't afford that. And I love that about the community, that there's, we're out to, promote each other and encourage each other to help humanity. And that's like the best thing, I think.
Yeah. And you have to know, with competition too, there's a sense of fear. Like, when people feel like they have to compete with people, it's because there's that sense of fear. And I just don't think fear is going to have a place in our new earth.
Right.
There's enough to go around, and fear, as far as like,
right.
The money is going to sort itself out. I can't say too much about that. We can't on YouTube, but it's all going to fix itself. We know that has to go down too. And so it's all going to fix itself. And it's all about humans being humans, and humans need each other.
Right.
Humans need each other. And that's the world that we're going into. And so we have to get rid of like that elitism and that idea that somebody's, no one's better than anybody. Like, we're all children of God. We're all special. All of us, every single one of us. And so, and that's what I love about the community, is everybody I work with and know now believe that within their core, that we're all equal players in this, and because that we're a family. We are a family, and so we have to help each other and support each other through this. This is tough. This is a tough thing to go through, and all the extraterrestrials apparently watching right now. When that military back channel said that this was a movie, I think they meant for the Palladians, not for us. Like,
okay,
we're in the movie, so they're watching and eating popcorn.
Do we get to take a bow? Do we get to?
I know, right? Like, where's my
take a bow at the end of all this?
I know.
That's right. Throw flowers. Throw.
Little insight about me, I love me some flowers. So where are my flowers?
Yes.
So
roses. We'll just put an order in now. I'd like some roses.
I know, ladies, if you're listening, we want some roses. So no, and that's wild for me too, is understanding like how many other beings are out there that are in God's kingdom that they didn't teach us that at Vacation Bible School. They didn't teach us that.
No.
And they're
all a good point. Yeah, I've heard that too. It's like, oh my heavens! So in addition to the 900 some people that are alive that we thought were not, that just blows me away. I'm like, okay, God can do anything. Anything's possible. So, I'm open to learning about it.
And for me, it's like, how magnificent of a creator do we have, that there are all these different like ecosystems of galaxies that are all under the umbrella of the creator. And they all, well, not all of them. We know the Anunnaki and the Draco are not, but most of them that are here right now love us so much as humans on this earth.
Oh, yeah,
and we don't even know, we can't even see them. Like, we don't even, half of us don't even know they're there. And they love us so much. And I've recently become more connected to that. And it's an overwhelming feeling of love. And they're funny. They're really funny. And and the fact that they're battling with us and protect and help, and they're cheering us on.
Oh, wow.
You know, and
Right.
and
That's a relief.
It just shows you how magnificent God is to have like all these other beings that are here with us in God's kingdom. And that's something that in my deconstruction of the Bible, that's one thing I've realized with the 12 tribes of Israel. They're not tribes on this planet. They're galactic tribes. That's what I believe at this point.
Oh, wow.
Galactic.
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, the Lyran group. The Lyran group is the group of the lion, which is the house of Judah, the tribe of Judah.
Okay.
You start to look at like Mr. T, they called him Orange Man Bad. Why? Because he had a golden hue.
Right.
That's the color of the Lyran, the lion, the house of Judah, the Christ consciousness.
Right.
All of a sudden you go, wow, this makes so much more sense. Because we know that Abraham, in my opinion, Abraham was not a good guy.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
That's just kind of my opinion now. I think there's a lot of biblical characters that we're going to be surprised that they kind of flip the script on. But so I kind of have a different view now on how the tribes came about. I don't think they came from Jacob. I think that this is talking about something different.
Okay.
And that's just my opinion. That's just because we know things have been so manipulated. But the Lyran group is the lion, the tribe of Judah, which is the Christ. It was where the Christ consciousness came through, the house of David. So, and that's why Trump had this orange. I mean, it's so fantastic. It's the just scratching the surface.
That's amazing.
I know. Just scratching the surface on the truth. It's just like, wow, human beings are so cool. Like, we have such a cool story, and we just have no idea. Like, we have no idea.
Yes, that's right.
We have no clue.
Yeah, because when I watched, I listened to or watched the Jesus Strand 1 and Jesus Strand 2, which I know have been taken off of YouTube, but you can watch them other places. But I've listened to this. I need to go back again. I just sit there and just like you bawl, like you just cry, like this is so incredible. This story is so incredible. Like sometimes you sit there and you're like, is this believable? Yes, this is, and you're just like, wow, God had it all planned out. And it's gorgeous. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's
amazing.
all planned. It's all planned. And I'm just so, at this point, I'm so grateful, back to what we were talking about earlier, that we're not heading into the apocalypse. That's already happened. We are ending this. This is it. This is the final countdown to get cheesy. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head all day.
Yeah.
Like anytime you sit at home and I know I say this a lot, but I hope people watching, like our friends watching right now, like excuse my language, I'm about to use a bad word. So if you got kids listening, cover their ears. You're a fucking badass. Like for everybody watching, including Cheryl, you're a fucking badass.
Oh.
Like, I hope people watching understand like the gravity of what's happening and the fact that God was like, you need to go down there and be a part of this. That's how strong you are, and that's how special you are. And I think the more that everybody understands that, the more the vibration's going to rise, and the more we're going to respect each other. And I mean, we're kind of a big deal. Humanity is kind of a big deal. We're low key. Humanity is a kind of a big deal.
Right.
Like they're so afraid of us that they had to try to brainwash us. So y'all, like you're
y'all
all y'all watching right now.
I love that. I just love it.
I'm never giving that up. No matter what happens in the new world, I'm gonna keep hold on that y'all. Yeah, all y'all watching right now, you are a big.
Please hold on to that. Right.
So
hold on to that, Brice, because that's you. I love it.
It's and I don't think I have that much of a Southern accent compared to some people I know, but I'm gonna hold on to that all y'all. So that y'all. So
please do. It wouldn't be Brice without it.
So I know I told somebody.
That's great.
Women down here in the South, like old Southern women, are seen as like the most polite, demure, but they can be savage. I explained to someone the other day that when an old Southern woman says "bless your heart," she just called you a dumbass. So Southern women can be a little savage sometimes. So when old Southern woman says "bless your heart," she literally called you a dumbass. So
There you go.
The right way.
There you go. Everybody knows.
Yes. So maybe. Oh, bless your heart.
That's great.
Heart. So. Well, Cheryl, it's been about an hour now, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. But besides, I'm going to go back to your YouTube. Besides your YouTube channel, where else can people find you, Cheryl, and find all your awesome work and your awesome interviews?
Well, I'm trying to do Rumble. I'm as up to date with the Rumble as I am with the YouTube, and I'm also on Telegram.
Okay.
And I can send you that so you can put it in the link or whatever. But yeah, so those are the two places for right now.
Perfect.
But yeah, I've enjoyed doing this. It's been a lot of fun. And I just, I decided the reason I wanted to do my channel was like, I've been researching, I want to share it with people. And I enjoy teaching. I have a background in education, and I homeschool my kids, so I do enjoy doing that. But it took a couple months to think about doing a channel, because I was like, should I do this or should I not? I kept going back and forth, and I was like, I'd ask God, I'm like, God, should I do this? And so finally I decided, and I actually started my channel in September 2021.
Auspicious. It's auspicious.
And that was the day before we left for, yes, we left. We left for vacation the very next day to Tennessee, and it's just going crazy ever since. I'm just trying to share truth, and I love gematria. I've been doing a lot of that. Really enjoyed it. It's fascinating. I'm hoping to do some more stuff on biblical numerology.
You should, for sure. I would love to
actually did a couple videos on.
I would love to have you come back on if you ever want to share anything on biblical gematria, because I was actually watching one of your episodes earlier, and he was saying he wasn't a math guy. I was never a math girl either. So I would love to have you, if you want to do biblical gematria and want to come on and share that, would love that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fun. I'd really like that. Yeah. Yeah. And then I've also done a couple videos on preparing for the Great Awakening. So I'm really good at listening. So I've listened to shows on the Sacred Blue Tent on Telegram, and just listening and listening to what people are saying, and then oh, well, that's something to think about that maybe I could teach other people. So I have a couple videos on doing your own research and the art of conversation and stuff like that. So I have other ones in the works that I'm working on, but I just like to share what I'm learning and interviewing people. I wasn't actually planning to interview people. Then I reached out to you, and I reached out to some other people, and I'm enjoying that. I really enjoy having other people on and talking to them and chatting and having, conversation and discussing things. So I'm trying to do more of that too. So, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it and enjoyed meeting great people like yourself. And
same.
It's been fun.
Well, guys, I will definitely have Cheryl back, and I know today the technology is a little weird because it's Mercury retrograde, but hopefully get Cheryl back on some round tables as well. Guys, she has so many awesome videos, I know a lot of people love the interviews as well. She's got a lot of great interviews, so please go over and give Cheryl a subscribe. Again, as I've said many times, it isn't really about the numbers, because none of us are chasing the numbers, but with the numbers, what happens too is it pushes, the more subscribers you have, the more your work gets pushed out. And the more our work gets pushed out, the more people we can reach, and hopefully help people in this, do what we can to help others who are not as fortunate as we are to understand what, not that we understand everything, but that there is stuff going on. So hopefully by subscribing to her channel, her stuff will go out more too, and reach more people. And so where we go, when we go all, we are all in this together, including everybody watching right now, because you guys are just as much a part of our platforms as we are. You guys pretty much are our platforms. And so we love each and every one of you. And it's an honor to be in this battle beside each and every one of you. And with all, so
with all y'all.
With all y'all. So that's right. That's right. People move to the South, they're like, what's the difference between y'all and all y'all? I'm like, that is something you have to be born into to understand the difference. So that's right. Your grandmother.
That's right.
Well, Cheryl, before we sign out, do you have any last parting words to people watching right now, our friends watching right now? Do you have any words of encouragement or anything you want to remind people of before we say goodbye?
Sure. If you want to start a channel, be brave and courageous and give it a go. Definitely. And it's a learning experience. And those of us in the truth community will help you because we've been there, done that. So I encourage anybody that wants to do that to do a channel. And then just hang on to hope because great things are coming. I'm so encouraged. In fact, I think I told a family member, I'm like, I have enough encouragement and just hope probably for 100 people, just knowing some of the stuff I know. And I know I don't know everything, believe me, I don't, but just have hope and be encouraged and, do things that you love and remember to hug your family and your friends and tell them you love them. So
I love that.
That's it.
Yep. The best is yet to come. It truly is. All right, guys. Well, we love you guys very much. Again, go subscribe to Cheryl, and I will put all her links down in the description box below, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.